Hi, friends.
Hi.
I'm here with my friend Jax. I don't know if you remember, but on Christmas Eve, I posted a story about a little boy who gave a quarter in the Christmas Eve service. Um, so we just want to tell you the story of what God did overnight and the miracle that happened. For those that don't know the story, I'm going to quick read the post and tell you that story first. I attended a Christmas Eve service with a good friend tonight, a single mom with two small boys, a family who I've watched struggle these last few months and just recently been displaced from their own home. They had to give up just about everything they owned in the process, fighting daily just to survive, while through tears clinging onto the belief that their newfound faith and their God is still with them in every hard step. During the service, as they announced they would be taking an offering for kids in our city who had nothing and were suffering, I watched as one of her small boys, only 8 years old, reached into his pocket and pulled out a quarter, looked up at his mom, and grinned, excited that he could help. Tears filled my eyes as I watched this tiny heart, a tiny heart who just 2 days prior didn't even have any presents under his own tree. My friend, I'm not taking you because I want to keep your anonymity. That's a hard word to say. Anonymity. I still don't say it right.
It's okay.
But I do want to honor you publicly. You are a good mom, and you should be proud. Look at the hearts you are teaching, showing, and raising. Hearts that care about other people. That character is going to take him so much farther in life than anything physical you could ever give them. Keep taking it one day at a time. This season you're in, it will end, and it is not the end. I know he will restore you to so much more. So I posted that story on Facebook because I was so touched by Kalel's heart and the quarter that he pulled out of his pocket. So moved. And I wasn't asking for anything. My friend wasn't asking for anything. And what's crazy, what God did overnight after sharing that post. God stirred in the hearts of his people. And so many people private messaged me wanting to help. And the very next day, as I'm relaying to Jax, like, this is crazy. So many people are reaching out to me wanting to help. God is working a miracle on Christmas Day. And amidst those conversations, she sent a text back to me, which led to her wanting to do a video today and kind of share with you guys what happened. So that's why we're here now sharing that with you again and telling what he did. The text that she sent said, I was thinking that people need to know about the Christmas quarter and what it means to give and how God multiplies when it's given from a clean and pure heart, reaping and sowing, overcoming and following in faith. I want to do a live video with you. I don't need to be anonymous and embarrassed or ashamed of my situation. I want to say thank you, and I want others to know, even when you make big mistakes, God knows what we need and gives it. I didn't even pray or ask for money. I just wanted my boys to have presents under their tree, and I was content with what the church was doing. It's just crazy. So my friend, tell us your story, more about your story, how you got to this point, as well as take us through those 2 days through your eyes.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you for first just sharing the story, and then also thank you to all the people that wanted to help me and the boys. I was really in a bad place because I didn't even want to celebrate Christmas, really, because it's been really difficult. My kids and I had a job loss earlier this year, and we had to leave our home at the beginning of December. So we sold everything we own, and we're staying with family right now. And a couple days before Christmas, I didn't even have anything to buy for the kids, and I was just praying that God would provide, and he totally did. He showed up and he showed off. you know, and so the church, you know, they provided us with some Christmas presents a couple days before Christmas, and you know, me and Jen decided to go to church because it was free. And when we went, you know, my son, he just got so excited when he heard that the church was doing some things for underprivileged kids in the city here in Las Vegas, and he just wanted to help. So he's like, "Mom, I have this quarter. Can I give it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you know, he was so excited, and he was like, "I'm gonna give this quarter. I found it in my room." and he was so excited to just put it in the bucket, and he really taught me something about like tithe, you know, about giving and giving in a pure sense. I'm very new to walking with God, and you know, before, you know, I was thinking that a lot of times when we give or when we do tithes, sometimes it's performance based, or because it's out of obligations, like, well, I'm a Christian now, so I have to give. But it's amazing how God multiplies so quickly when it's given, you know, from a clean and pure heart, like a child. And he just wanted to give, and a quarter was all he had. So he gave the quarter, and God just multiplied. And overnight, literally, I didn't even know Jen did the post, and then she says, "Hey, I did a post on Facebook and people are giving you money." And I was like, "What?" So, and people were reaching out to me asking like how they could help or what they needed. And it was just amazing, like how people just did, you know, how just one small little quarter just stirred in so much people, and it multiplied pretty much almost overnight to, can I tell the number?
Yeah, sure.
It went from a quarter that we gave, and God multiplied it to $450 overnight. It was pretty insane. So thank you to all the people that gave to us.
It reminds me, your story reminds me of a story in the Bible that talks about a widow, you know, basically giving all that she has. There's some verses in Mark 12:41-44 that say, sitting across from the offering box, he was observing how the crowd tossed money in for the collection. Many of the rich were making large contributions. One poor widow came up and put in 2 small coins, a measly 2 cents. Jesus called his disciples over and said, "The truth is that poor widow gave more to the collection than all the others put together. All the others gave what they'll never miss. She gave extravagantly, what she couldn't afford. She gave her all." I'm starting to get a little emotional because it makes me think of, that was Kalel. That's you. That's what you've taught them to do, to give from a heart that, no, let me give everything. And just watch what God did overnight, and how he stirred in the hearts of people to bless you. It's so powerful. And I remember sitting in the Christmas Eve service with you and feeling the weight of where you were as a friend, wanting to help. I remember, like, in my mind saying to God, I don't know how to help my friend. And watching what happened overnight, watching how he worked a miracle on Christmas Day, I feel like I heard him say in response, that's because it needed to be me. It needed to be God that would show up way bigger than I ever could to help where you were and to help your current status. And it's a beautiful picture of just the fact that God sees us. Yeah. God sees us where we're at, and he's been with you, and he is with you.
Yeah.
You were sharing a few other things with me earlier, you know, about tithing and just what your views about that were and have been like over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, well, prior to walking with Christ, I was really anti-tithing, and it's been a very you know, a learning experience for sure. Learning how to give and give from my heart and not because I have to or because it's a performance thing. And I was really resistant. I mean, there's times when I would go to church. In fact, the church that helped me this Christmas, and they would talk about tithing, and I would walk out and leave, and I would say that's stupid, and I don't want to do that, and then I wouldn't go back for a period of time. But going to events, learning from a mentor, Danny Johnson, learning about what it really is and what it represents has really opened my heart from not even wanting to do it and walking away from God because I didn't want to give up a small portion to now. That's the first thing that I do now. And, it is a sacrifice, especially when you don't make a big wage. And teaching my kids, my kids have even asked me, they're like, well, if we just keep the money, we would have more. But, I'm like, no, this is God's money. We have to, this is to help other people, and we do our tithe through King's Ransom, and I let them pick where they want to give their money, and as a parent, you don't get a lot of feedback from your kids, and as a single parent, you don't get a lot of feedback from. I don't have a spouse or anybody that I can bounce off. So when they do things like want to give their little quarter in the offering, it just really makes my heart feel good, because I'm like, oh, what I'm actually teaching it's penetrating, it's getting in there. Even though sometimes I feel like it's a losing battle or it's a pointless battle. It's really awesome when they do stuff like that, because then I'm like, oh, good. Feel happy that they're following and that they're seeing their mom, following the same instructions. Kalel in particular, he's always asking why. He's always like, why do we, why, and I just try to reinforce that there's other people out there that are less fortunate than us. I mean, we lost her home. We're all sleeping in one bed together. But we have our health, we have family, we have friends like Jen. We have a lot of things to be happy and blessed, about, and there are still other people that are hurting way more than us. So, so it's just exciting to see him do that and see him follow those principles. And I wish that I would have, I mean, it's steps. God teaches in steps, and he teaches in your own way, and some people take longer. I took longer to learn the lessons. Even though I went to events, I learned the principles. I read in the Bible. I know what I'm supposed to do. And in the beginning, I didn't follow the principles, and I didn't do my tithing consistently. And when I did have a job loss at the beginning of the year, had I been following the principles that I'm following now, the job loss wouldn't have hit me as drastically as it did. And so I'm definitely gonna keep following and doing what we're doing now. So, and I know that if the quarter is any significance of the way that God is going to multiply me next year, I definitely am excited. And so yeah, if you're having any resistance in your heart about tithing or giving, I definitely know where you're at, because I was there. And And when you do give, and you give from a clean heart, it just totally gets multiplied. And it's crazy. I was telling Jen this month of December, even though we lost our home, we lost everything. We had to downsize everything, even down to our clothes. And I managed to pay off $400 worth of debt this month. And after the tithe from the money that we received from the Christmas quarter, I received $400 I have $400 in my savings account. So it's pretty awesome.
You were talking about some principles that you wish you had been more accountable to, and that you're going to keep more accountable to now. What were those principles specifically?
Well, paying off debt, savings, and tithing, and being faithful with the little. I was not faithful with the little. When I did have the money and I did have a good job, I chose to do more extracurricular activities and not pay off debt and not put savings away. And because of that, because I wasn't faithful with little, I got myself into a big mess. And that's where, if you've made big mistakes, I feel like God forgives, and he teaches and walks you through it, all over again. It's like, okay, here we go. You're not condemned, to a lifetime of suffering. He'll restore you. And I completely believe that, as I continue to follow these principles, paying off debt, being faithful with little, not indulging in extra things, that God will restore. He'll restore us.
So good, so good. It's amazing to me how merciful and giving and loving our God is, that no matter, like you said, no matter the mistakes we make, no matter the mistakes we continue to make, he loves us still. He wants to show us mercy still. He wants that continued relationship with us, where he's continuing to call us to him to say, let me just walk with you in this journey. I want to bless you. I want to love you. I want to talk to you. Just talk to me. Let me know, what you're going through. Let me be there for you and with you in that journey. And I think your story is such a powerful testimony of God just showing up.
Showing up.
He
did.
Yeah.
He did.
So good. So thank you for sharing your
Thank
story,
you.
my friend. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You are an amazing mom, and your kids are so blessed to have you.
Thank you.
You continue to just call out to God and walk with him despite a lot of hard things that not many of us have to deal with. And I've been impressed by and so moved by your faith in him. Even when you're in tears and you're just saying, I don't know how to do this, you still say, but God's there.
He is
every
there.
time you have said that.
The only thing that's been keeping me sane is God, and just reading the Bible, and just listening. That's another thing too that I've been learning, is listening and focus. Just listening to the messages because he does talk to us. I really do. He does talk to me. Sometimes, like, I will have a question and then somebody will say something or do something, or I'll read something and it'll answer my question right back. So listening and just focusing on one step at a time.
So good. Well, I know that you've probably struck some chords with a lot of people watching today, and I'm sure that your story is going to impact more than just even your own life. It's going to impact a lot of people who are watching now and need to be inspired to have more faith.
I hope so.
And to know that God is with them too. God is with you too, my friend. And he does not miss any part of your story.
Mm-mm.
He knows every tear that you've cried, and he is watching, and he wants to walk with you too. So hang in there, and thanks for listening in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to have to help me turn this off because I don't know how.
I think finish.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.